It starts with a search, just a few words. Best running shoes. Cheap hotels in Paris. How to fix a slow phone. Seems harmless, right? But behind that simple query, something massive kicks into motion. Google isn't just giving you answers. It's building a profile, tracking, tagging, selling. Every click, every map route, every YouTube video you hover over, it's all part of a puzzle. One where you are the product, not the user. People think Google makes money from ads. That's only part of the truth. The real business? Data. Your data. Your habits, your interests, your schedule, your location, your voice, all compiled, packaged, and auctioned off to the highest bidder in a system so seamless you'll never know it happened. And it works because it doesn't feel invasive. You don't see flashing red warnings, no alerts, no emails saying, "We just sold your bedtime routine to an insurance company." Instead, the feed just changes. The suggestions shift. That weirdly specific ad shows up right after a private conversation. And we call it coincidence. It's not. Google's entire ecosystem, from Gmail to Google Docs, from Android phones to Nest thermostats, is engineered to feed a $1.2 billion surveillance machine. And we agreed to it. Every "I accept" clicked without reading. Every new app opened with default settings gave them permission. But here's the kicker. It's not just about selling to advertisers anymore. It's about predicting you, recommending before you even ask, profiling behaviors, voting patterns, emotions. They don't need to ask who you are. They already know. And for years, they've been quietly selling that knowledge to corporations, governments, and brokers, with barely any oversight. This isn't the future of tech. It's the present we're sleepwalking through. And the deeper you dig, the worse it gets. Because Google's secret isn't that they track you. It's what they do with it after you trust them. You'd think your data is just a blur in a giant system, a needle in a digital haystack. But that's where the illusion lies. Google doesn't just collect data. It personalizes it, down to the most unsettling detail. Your late-night searches, your health concerns, your deleted emails, even your drafts. Yes, the things you type but never send. They're still there, still scanned, still stored. Ever noticed how an ad for anxiety meds shows up right after you type, "Why do I feel nervous all the time?" in Google Docs? Coincidence? Try Calculated. Google's systems analyze everything. Tone, language, timing. If your phone's microphone picks up stress in your voice, that data has a destination. If your Maps history shows you visiting a hospital 3 times in a week, the algorithm starts adjusting. And they're not just keeping it in a vault somewhere, they're selling access. Data brokers, companies you've never heard of, bid on segments like anxious consumers under 30 or frequent pharmacy visitors. And while Google insists it's anonymized, the sheer volume and precision of the information means re-identification is terrifyingly easy. Want proof? In 2022, an independent researcher managed to reconstruct a person's full identity, including home address, income level, and medical condition, using only ad tracking data sourced from Google's ad exchanges. It's not just creepy, it's dangerous. Because once that data is out, you can't get it back. It's copied, traded, sold again and again. One moment it's being used to show you ads for protein powder. The next, it's determining your credit score, your insurance premiums, your job prospects. And you never gave explicit permission. Not with words, just with silence. Just by using the apps like everyone else. This isn't about paranoia. It's about power. And right now, Google holds more of it than any government. What makes this worse isn't just that it's happening, it's that it's legal. Hidden beneath layers of terms and conditions, buried in privacy policies no one reads, are the permissions we unknowingly grant. Every checkbox we click is a contract, one that hands over the rights to our digital lives in exchange for free services. But what's the true cost of free? Imagine this. You apply for health insurance, and the premium is strangely high. Later, you find out your search history flagged you as high risk. Or you're denied a loan, not because of your credit score, but because your online behavior suggests financial instability. You didn't give that data directly to a bank or insurance company, but the brokers who bought it from Google, they did. This isn't science fiction. It's already happened. Several whistleblowers have revealed that Google quietly collaborates with third parties across healthcare, law enforcement, and predictive analytics firms. In one instance, police departments were granted access to location data from Android phones in a geofence around crime scenes. You didn't have to be a suspect. You just had to be there. And here's the kicker. You can't opt out of most of it. Sure, Google lets you pause, add personalization, or turn off location history. But even when you do, background systems still operate. Some reports exposed how location data continued tracking users even after all location services were disabled. So, why the secrecy? Because the truth is unmarketable. If users really understood how invasive the data collection was, they'd flee. So Google wraps it in convenience. They give you directions, emails, cloud storage, and endless content for free. And all you have to give in return? Your life. Piece by piece, search by search, tap by tap, and by the time you realize what you've traded, it's already too late. So what now? Most people hear all this and shrug. Well, I've got nothing to hide. But that's not the point. The danger isn't in what you're hiding, it's in what they can predict. You don't have to commit a crime to be flagged. You don't need to lie for the algorithm to misunderstand you, and you don't need to consent loudly, because your silence already did that. Google has built the most detailed psychological profile of billions of people in human history. Not because they're evil geniuses, but because we handed it to them, one click at a time. And they're not the only ones. This is the blueprint now. Every major tech company is racing to match Google's surveillance model, because it works, because it pays. Because in the digital age, predicting behavior is more profitable than selling products. So, where does that leave us? Not powerless, but not protected either. The average user doesn't stand a chance alone. Opt-out options are hidden. Data deletion tools are buried. And let's be honest, most people won't spend an hour digging through privacy settings when they just want to check their email or watch a video. But awareness is a start. It's asking questions, challenging norms, supporting real data privacy laws, refusing to accept that invasive tracking is the cost of modern life. Because one day, your data might be used against you. Not in some dystopian future, but in a job interview, a court case, a health diagnosis, or a government system that doesn't need a warrant, just a data file. Google didn't invent surveillance capitalism, but they perfected it. And if we don't push back now, we're not just users, we're inventory. Tracked, packaged, and sold. Every second of every day. So the next time you Google something, just remember, you're not searching Google. Google is searching you.